Okay, so Velo Life Podcast, episode 10.
Welcome, guys, to episode 10. We've made it to double digits, which always seems to be quite a big milestone. So, yeah, good going. Well done. How's your week been, Dale?
I think we had an amazing weekend just gone. The weather was absolutely great. So
wasn't it just?
100K both days, which was pretty nice. It's a bit of a shock to come back down to earth with this cold weather that now is seeing us through to the end of the week. But other than that, it's been pretty good. Got plenty of riding in, so it's been nice.
Good. You, Sammy?
Yeah, same. And the racing's exciting. So
been a lot going on there as well.
It's good in the cycling world.
Which has been quite interesting. Jono, how's your couple of weeks been?
That's been all right, thank you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
I'm glad. Mine has been okay. Non-eventful. The weather has been phenomenal, which has been amazing. Gives me hope.
Was your cafe really busy over the weekend?
It was quite busy, yes. Yeah, it was pretty busy, which was really nice.
Great.
But also just not just busy, just nice. People have just spark up a little bit, and life's not quite as dire as it was before, and there's sort of a sparkle and hope in people's attitudes. And it's actually quite amazing the difference it makes. All of a sudden people are saying, "Oh, thank you." You're like, you haven't said that all winter. And now all of a sudden, it's like, thank you and please. And it just shows how much of a massive difference it actually makes when the sun comes out.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Do you still get clubs come from like a really long way away? So like London and stuff like that? Yeah.
Yeah, so less during the winter, but they start now a little bit more. And the seasonal change to Black Americano has officially...
Oh, has it started?
Officially started this weekend. We officially moved from flat white to Black Americano, taking the top spot.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. Always you're like, sun's out, Riley, Black Americano, please.
Wow.
No worries. It's bonkers.
So weird.
But so all good. Lovely to see the sun. Chilly again this week, as you said. Did anybody see Tommy Vogler running his Paris half marathon?
No.
No, TV Tommy.
45, half marathon, 1 hour 13, 21 seconds, 3:28-minute kilometers.
Sweet.
Was he kind of like running along like he used to when he was on the bike?
Well, strangely enough, in one of the articles, they had 2 photographs side by side of him running, and it wasn't too dissimilar.
Wow.
But yeah, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. He's turned his hand to something else. So
you remember the year when he was riding for Europe Car on a Colnago C59, and he was in the yellow jersey for like 14 days, wasn't he?
Yeah. He just wouldn't give it back.
He wouldn't give it back.
And they were like, oh, we'll get him tomorrow. Nope. I don't know. We've spoken about him before. I think he's rock and roll, that dude. Doesn't look that great on a bike, but...
No, it's terrible. And his shorts were too short. He had way too much thigh on show.
This is true. Yeah, we've definitely spoken about him before. Yeah. That is for sure.
He's really short, right? Yeah. Notoriously short. Yeah. How tall are we saying?
About 4'2". No, I'm joking.
Because he does look really tiny.
So short.
I don't know. I struggle with people who are short because they all look the same to me, just like these little people. And so I find it
look the same.
I find it quite hard to say how tall short people are.
Well, it's also weird because when I, on one of the few occasions that I've seen like pro riders up close, even someone like Peter Sagan is tiny. And you look at him on TV and you think, he's a big guy. Yeah. He's not.
Yeah. There was who's that guy who's never won anything in gravel? Freddie Ovett. I don't know whether you follow him on Strava.
No.
Anyway, he's forever rider with Matthew Van der Poel and whatnot over in Calpe. He did and you sort of see him and he looks like a normal sized person on a bike. He did a Zwift race the other day and put up his power to weight, and so I reverse engineered how much the guy weighs. He weighs like 62 kilos. He must be teeny tiny to weigh that.
Yeah.
Like 62 kilos. Yeah. So I think a lot of these pro cyclists are very, very small
Smaller
men.
than you think.
Yeah. I think Ganna, if you met Ganna, for instance, Filippo Ganna, he's probably like normal size, I would have thought. It's like 80 kilos. Van der Poel's probably like normal size. Wout van Aert.
Yeah.
The rest of them are all just...
They are tiny. Yeah. Vingegaard must be...
child size.
Yeah, literally almost.
Isn't he like 58 kilos or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, it just... When he stands there and all the reporters come round, it doesn't matter whether they are young, old, ladies, men, they're all taller than him.
Yeah.
He's just like,
Yeah.
down in the
And he's
corner.
got like all his kids' clothes are all hanging off him.
Someone feed him.
Yeah, very, very, very tiny. Strada Bianchi. Did you watch?
I did watch.
Ladies, what did you think of the ladies?
I think it's true of probably most of the season. The ladies' racing has been better than the men's, is what I think.
Yeah.
It was an amazing race. I think it's really interesting to see Ander van der Breggen come back.
Yeah.
34, first year back, having had 3 years out, I think.
Yeah.
She's come back and straight away she's second. Only got dropped up the climb of the Via Santa Caterina, which if you go to Siena, you can walk up that road. It's absolutely amazing walking up it because it is so bloody steep. It is properly steep. But yeah, she did an amazing race. I think Vollering she dropped her at the end, which is fine, but I don't think she looked like she was going to destroy her. So it's going to be really interesting for the rest of the season. But I thought the women's race was great. Some epic crashes in the women's race. Big crashes.
Yeah, I saw some photographs of some of them afterwards. And I was just like, oh.
I would love to see the stats. I get the impression now that as the women's racing is going up and up in quality and speed, the crashes are also going up as well.
Yeah.
I'm just noticing way more crashes in women's racing than I used to see before.
Yeah, and also bigger crashes.
Yeah.
Crashes that seem to be doing a little bit more damage.
Like Nivea Doma's, like her face was a mess after that
I
crash.
saw photographs of her. She just does not look well.
Yeah.
As in after the crash and after she'd been sorted out, you're just like,
Although interestingly, 2 days after the crash, she put a post on Instagram saying, "Can anyone recommend like a chiro or an osteopath in Italy where she was?" I just thought it was really odd because I thought the team would have sorted it out for
for sure,
here's the tour last year's tour winner, and yet she's going on Instagram asking for chiro or osteo advice.
that's very
really
strange.
surprising.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, that's very, very odd. That's very odd. Maybe she was just doing it so she could get some responses and like a conversation like this guy.
Oh yeah.
Did you see what
Well, she wants recommendations. She should come on here. We'll give her recommendations.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially on
Got
kit.
seats and everything. On kit.
Yeah.
That's not what she was
She
asking.
needs any help choosing her wheels.
We can do that for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Men's Strada Bianchi.
I just saw the famous clip. So I saw Pod go down and apparently Pidcock waited, right?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, it was a long way from the finish. It was the right thing to do to sit up. I would have sat up.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have sat up a long while before then. But had he crashed when I'd been with him, I would have sat up.
You would have sat up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about that little sit-up?
What Pidcock's? Well, it was sufficiently far from the end to he wasn't going to go away on his own, right? And at the point at which Pidcock was riding, because he didn't come, the racing was on, okay? So he didn't come off the pedals. He wasn't specifically trying to drop Pogacar. So as Pogacar got back on his bike and it was clear that he was closing the gap, there's no point in trying to ride.
Absolutely.
You might as well wait because you're more likely to get away with the two of you.
Yeah.
And he ended up, had he kept going and then got caught, I think there was only like 35 or 40 seconds at the end to the third, fourth race behind.
Yeah.
He might have ended up not even getting on the podium. So he secured himself second by waiting, is my read of it.
Yeah.
And he never really knew how Pogacar was going to be after the crash. Yeah. Now, I read a thing today that said he did nearly 10 watts per kilo for 6 minutes to drop him.
Yeah.
Was it 6 minutes? No, it's probably less than that. He did 10 watts per kilo in the bit where it dropped.
Yeah, 630 watts or something like that.
Insane. After you've crashed like that. Because they were going at speed. It was downhill, round a bend. It just goes to cement is this all really normal when it comes to Pogacar? Is it all completely normal? Because those are insane numbers.
Exactly, yeah.
You've just crashed. Most people, when they deck it like that, it's bad. And once the adrenaline wears off, I was watching it with Liz, my other half, and I sort of said, once he's going super hard, he'll catch him. But once the adrenaline's worn off, it might be the case that his legs just go to pieces. Well, seemingly it had absolutely no effect. So the man can even crash and it has no effect. And that's not how the human body behaves.
No, and I want to come back to that in a minute. I just want to go back to Pidcock. And I agree. I think it was I actually think it was an incredibly clever decision from
smart.
Pidcock, right? Because he's been under pressure in Ineos and being, a bit of a know-it-all and wants it all his way and all of that kind of thing. And he's come out and he's got a couple of results which I think are great for him, right? As whatever I think. But Pogacar's waited for 2 or 3 people in the past when they've had an accident, right? I know I'm trying.
Vingegaard waited for him.
Yeah,
he waited for Pogacar when he decked him.
Pogacar, and then I know Pogacar's done it before, and there's been this sort of camaraderie thing going on, and I don't think Pidcock was ever sure he could beat Pogacar, right? So then, as you said earlier, what is the point of chasing? There's only one. The worst outcome could be you launch a massive attack, get caught, and lose. Right, that's your complete. So by waiting, you kind of show a little bit of, that sportsmanship going on. Plus, you get the advantage of riding with somebody towards the end and you secure your second. I think it was a very smart move from Pidcock.
Yeah, I think he's just racing smarter all around the season. I think, we've said a couple of episodes ago, the move has done him the power of good. Yeah. It really, really has, because it's given him the freedom to be and ride how he wants to ride, which he just didn't have at Ineos. And it's much more exciting to watch.
And do you think, do you think in hindsight it shows or it indicates more of what may have been going on in Ineos than, we all knew it was going to pot, right? There were people leaving and not staying on and that kind of thing, and riders leaving. But, Pidcock got quite a hard rap for some of the stuff he said and the way he went about it, which I don't condone either. But it now shows a little bit that there's definitely something not right at Ineos. Something's going awry.
They also just have a high number of strong riders like that. And how is that ever going to function if you've got because with that comes ego. How do you manage that many riders with that much ego? You're going to have to disappoint someone, right?
Yeah. I think it's
I think with Pidcock, he's very clear in his mind about what he wants, and what he wanted didn't match the Ineos model. Yeah. And with Q365, he's got what he wants, right? So I think that's the top bottom middle of it. I think that the problem Ineos have at the moment is they're going through a transitionary phase. I don't think they quite know who they are as a team. They know who they used to be. They're not that team anymore, so stop hanging on to it. Yeah. And there's this, if you look at this year so far, I think they've had 5 victories already, which, is already
much better
than last year. Yeah. And so it feels like, well, because we're not focusing on GC and trying to be that GC team, and actually we get people in stages and giving them the opportunity to race properly, look at Kwiatkowski at the Classica de Jaén, he probably raced that. He went in a really early move with Brandon McNulty. So I think that change has been really good for the team, because like you say, they do have good riders. So unshackle them and let them race.
Maybe some of that pressure of the big GCs going, actually, hang on a second. Because somebody was discussing that about Pidcock and saying, what should he do in any of the big tours this year that he lands up riding? Should he be a GC contender or should he just race? And they were like, let him just race for stages. Just let him race for stages, because every single win will bolster that, I say ego nicely, but just bolster how good he feels and how well he rides. Don't chuck him into a GC battle. No, that's my personal opinion. I don't think it's the...
is he even can he even compete on GC? Because he's not got the time trialing. So why I don't know. It sounds bad saying why try, but he's not quite well-rounded enough, I don't think.
Not at the moment. I don't think he's got the right team around him either.
They're not strong enough to ride for GC. No. And he said himself in an interview this week, he hasn't even been on his time trial bike. He's ridden it maybe twice this year. So he's not going to be going for GC. No. Tirreno Adriatico today, their super long stage, had a 240-kilometre stage today in Tirreno. Yeah. Rain for most of it. He got second.
That's very good.
Came second today, yeah.
Uh-huh. Did, I was thinking about something else. Yeah, that's very good. No, he's riding well. He's right. Who came first?
Andrea Vendrame, the guy who won on the mountain stage of the Giro last season.
Okay.
And Romain Gregoire was third.
Yes, a long way. And the weather was not nice.
You don't need 240-kilometre stages in stage racing. That's like classics distance.
Talking about classics, Milan-San Remo coming up at some point in the next couple of weeks. Who do we reckon is going to win?
Not Pogacar.
Do you think he's not going to win?
I think he won't win. I think that's what I think. There's too many people who can keep with him on the Poggio. Have you ever been there, ridden a Poggio?
No.
The Poggio is not steep.
Yeah. And
they go up at 36, 37 kilometres an hour. But I think they can all do that. If you look at who's gone over the top of the Poggio with him, Ganna's looking in good form. We all know that Philipsen can get up it. Van der Poel can get up it. Wout van Aert, if he finds his legs at any point in the season, he'll be able to get up it. Yeah. So it's wide open. Pidcock will be able to get up it.
Yeah.
So it is wide open. It just won't be Tadej Pogacar.
Okay, so who is it going to be?
I would like to see Ganna win it.
Okay.
Where would he attack?
I think he's got to go. He's got to hold the move and go right at the top, like Van der Poel did the year Van der Poel won, and just go right at the last minute and hold the descent, because he can probably hold off the bunch. If he's got a gap, he can probably hold the bunch off on the flat bit at the bottom down the Via Roma.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. He's flying this season.
Imagine if Pidcock went on that descent.
I'm not sure he can hold the bottom end once down.
Last year,
So maybe a Pidcock Ganna team.
if you remember last year, they got to the bottom and he followed a move, and there was two of them away on the Via Roma, and they couldn't hold the bunch off, which is essentially pulled back by Matthew Van der Poel, because he pulled it back for Philipsen, didn't he? You will recall he was wearing the World Champs jersey. It was pretty amazing. But yeah, I think it's wide open again this year.
Yeah, I think it's tough to bet against Pogačar. Unfortunately,
He
I
can
might
win on
add,
anything, right?
because
Not San Remo.
he time trials like a beast.
Actually, I'll tell you who else I'd like to see win. Michael Matthews. Michael Matthews has been on, I think he's been second, he's done 2/3, a fourth. Like he would love to win that race. And because he lives in Monaco, there's a story that like last year, he like picked Tadej Pogačar up and drove him over there in his Porsche and parked up. They did the race and he drove him home afterwards as well. So I'd quite like to see Michael
Genius.
Matthews win as well, because he's always been there and he can get over the climb.
Yeah.
And he's a good descender, and he holds in the pack for the sprint at the end. Maybe this is his year.
I want Van der Poel to win. Sorry.
Again.
But I do. Yeah.
Again.
I want him to beat Pogačar and Pidcock for that matter. And I want him to win.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure he will.
With his new Super
But
Slam Canyon. Have you seen that?
I haven't yet, no. Properly slammed, is it?
Bar's getting lower and lower. I said to Dale, they'll be like touching the front wheels
Yeah.
sometime soon.
minus 17 degree stem, fully slammed, 120.
That's because they're bringing the front ends up on all the bikes.
Not Van der Poel.
No, as in the actual
the
frame.
geometry.
They're bringing the frame
Yeah.
up.
He's proper old school, isn't he? Rides 172.5 cranks, 42 centimetre bars. Old school.
Mm.
It's hardcore.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's not winning as much.
And has a bad back.
And that's a bad back. Cape Epic. I know I follow it more than most, fair enough. But I think a text, I was quite keen to see that Matthew Beers and Keegan Swenson are teaming up. That's going to be interesting. Because I think Swenson's done it once before, if I remember correctly.
Finished 11th.
Yeah. But Matt Beers won last year. Matt Beers has been podiuming in the Lifetime Grand Prix in the States. So it could be an interesting pairing. Schurter is with, I've forgotten his name. He's ridden with him before.
Is it Victor something?
No. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I think it could be a great race this year.
When does it start?
16th, 17th.
Of March. Oh, nice.
Yeah, now, soon sometimes.
Yeah.
And they actually show it live now on YouTube, I think, which is really quite interesting to watch. But yeah, I think it could be the first time in a long time where actually it could be a really tight and good race. And
there's a lot of luck that comes into it as well, though, like puncturing and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's anybody's.
Yeah, there's far more goes into it as an individual than in the road racing, right? You really, there's so many more complications that can go on. And you see guys losing big time and then gaining big time because those things can happen. So yeah, I'm quite excited. I think it should be quite good.
Do you think we'll see drop bar full suspension mountain bikes?
No.
Because no one rides those.
No.
Who would ride that?
And definitely not on that course. That'd be death trap. I think not quite there. There's some other races where absolutely, but not that one. And I think it'll be frowned upon. No, I'm joking.
I mean, it will be frowned upon, for sure.
Going, you never know, right? Guys, you guys are familiar with the Velominati's cycling rules?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't recite them, but
no, nor could I.
I'm aware of them.
I'm aware of them. I'd like to just go through them quickly and just get an opinion on whether they are actually valid anymore. Because I was trying to work out when they were actually put in place. And
1904.
and I can't seem to work it out, right? But I think a lot of them don't have value anymore. But I keep on hearing people quote them.
Some of them have been updated, right? Like the socks, it was all white, and now it's like if it matches the shoes, it's okay, kind of thing. Is that right?
Yes, if
It's been updated.
there have been some updated, but clearly they need to do some more updating, in my humble opinion.
Let's do it. Let's go through them.
So I thought we should just go through them and rock and roll. Right. So rule number 1 is obey the rules. So I have a problem to start with. Right, I'm like, hang on a second.
Part of the issue with cycling is there are too many rules sometimes. Don't like a rule.
But you do like a rule, though. Actually, you just like to choose which rules you like, but you do love a rule, right?
As long as it's the right rule.
Correct.
So you'd rather rule number 1 is obey some rules.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Or else it should be, let us make the rules and then we will adhere to them.
Yeah, now you're talking
Obey
about
your
language.
own
Right,
rules.
okay, so rule number 2 is lead by example. Right,
That's just a good life message.
I think that's that's a great idea. It says it is forbidden for someone familiar with the rules to knowingly assist another person to breach them. Anyway, let's just
Wow.
leave it with
Well, that is like
lead by
that's way too serious. It's too deep, that one.
It's a bit dark.
Rule number 3: guide the uninitiated. I think that's I think that's good.
Share what you know.
Yeah, and down with that. Rule number 4: it's all about the bike. It's absolutely, without question, unequivocally about the bike. Anyone who says otherwise is a rude name.
That's quite tricky though, because I think you'll agree, Dale, that some people focus too much on the bike and not enough. So you see people, for example, go out on like an S-Works SL8 just to pick a bike, but haven't really put the same thought into the clothing.
Yeah.
So then it looks very out of place.
It's
Right.
fascinating. Because I was
Absolutely.
out at the weekend and I pointed something like this out to Liz. There was this fella who had a really, really expensive tarmac, and it was an SL8, but it wasn't an S-Works. And he had like flat shoes and baggy shorts and a mountain bike peak helmet on. And I'm like, why are you on that? Because the 3 watts that frame is saving you is lost twice over by your stupid shorts.
You should have just ridden past and gone, have you stolen that? Is that your bike?
Just let his tires down.
So just to clarify, Dale, no rules, right? I'm just checking.
Some rules.
Hang on. Sam, you gave me an ugly saddle tax once after you serviced my bike. You literally, I went to collect the bike and there was a little note on the receipt. That
Yeah,
said,
I remember that. And I think I discussed this with Lee and we
Yeah,
both agreed it
absolutely.
needed it. So it wasn't just me.
What
sure.
saddle was it? What saddle?
I can't even remember now.
It was just a stock. It may have been
Well, so
a
let me stop you there.
WTB.
If you buy a bike, the chances are the stock saddle is wrong.
Yeah.
Below a certain price
Yeah.
point, certainly. Even on a lot of expensive bikes, like the saddles are not great. They don't give you good saddles.
no.
So I think that's fair.
Yeah,
okay.
WTB saddle.
I think
Did
it
they make
was.
saddles?
I can't even
Was it
remember
just a
now.
disguised moccasin?
That's worse. Moccasins get comfortable with age.
Moccasins have tassels.
Yes, no, absolutely not. So it's all about the bike. I think that's a bit.
No.
I think that's a stretch
Could be
too
misread.
far.
Not if you're dressed like a douchebag.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Rule number 5 is harden the hell up.
I do agree with that one.
And through the rules, it references that rule as certain
Yeah.
things. So I distinctly remember saying to Sarah one morning, going, "Babe, this weather is really not nice. Please, can you take me to work?" And she just said, "Rule number 5, see ya."
Yeah.
I was like,
Out the door.
"Okay, that's great, thanks."
Yeah.
Rule number 6: free your mind, and your legs will follow.
Wholly
cool.
untrue. Wholly untrue. Because, like,
Whoa. I would just like to point out that there's a complete and utter contradiction here. Okay, yeah, go, Dale.
I'm going to let Sam go first.
Okay.
No, I just quite like that.
Yeah. I'm inclined to err on the side of agreeing.
It's a lovely notion.
Yeah.
But it's not true, is it? Because some days you're like, oh, I feel great, I'm going to go on a bike. And you can't go anywhere. You just feel like a dog. You don't have it in the legs.
No,
I see what you mean.
So I agree. But that happens sometimes. I agree, you 90% of the time have a crap time if your mind isn't a crap place.
I don't know. I went out this morning on my way to work, wasn't feeling it.
Were you fuming?
Fuming about a variety of things. Like rage watts, 245 watts normalized power when I got to work. It was like I did like a 35k average on the way in this morning. It's amazing.
Rage watts.
Yeah.
That should be a hashtag.
Rage watts.
Rage watts. So I was once, we were in Flanders and I was riding down the Haag Hook, right? And with the Haag Hook, you turn left off this road, it goes down and then up. And as we're going down into like where you get into the bottom of the dip, the guy I was with, his Wahoo came off. And I didn't realize his Wahoo came off. Yeah. And I just thought that I had amazing legs. Right, I just thought, and I went past, going, "Have that!" And I'm like, on the. Anyway, he found his, and then he's like, "Rage watts." I couldn't keep up with him because he's just had these rage watts. He's doing amazing power.
That's how Pogacar won.
It is a thing. I said to Liz, I said, "Look, rage watts. This is what's happening here."
That dude is angry. Okay, so I think. Once you settle into things, and I think the mind has a huge effect on how one can ride. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so the verdict is open on rule number 6. Rule number 7, tan lines should be cultivated and kept razor sharp. It goes on to say, under no circumstances should one be rolling up their sleeves or shorts in an effort to somehow diminish one's tan lines. Sleeveless jerseys are under no circumstances to be employed. I would like to state before we go any further that the last line I agree with completely.
So, I think women should be allowed to wear sleeveless jerseys.
No.
Yes, I do think that.
Okay, you can think that, but like, what's your reason?
Because I think tan lines for women are slightly more important. They have to wear like sleeveless dresses and the like, and whacking out some crazy ass, super sharp tan lines is not always a good look. For a man, completely agree. I think we should cultivate tan lines, and I think they should be as crispy as you can make them, to the point where I've thrown shorts away because they don't help my tan line. They're not in the right place. So I just throw them away or use them on the turbo.
Do you then, once you've cultivated these crispy tan lines, do you then wear shorts that show off those crispy tan lines?
I have no problem with like going on holiday and like sitting with shorts that come up above the tan line. So I've got a big piece of pasty white skin, like a piece of chicken skin.
I just draped across. It reminds me of the what's the ice cream? Napolino or whatever it's called.
Neapolitano.
So then the next question is, now you've cultivated these tan lines and you go to the beach and you wear said shorts, do you then put sun cream over that white bit and leave the rest?
No, I generally just try to inch my shorts down a bit. I don't cream up to the line.
Because my wife really doesn't like cycling tan lines. So if I've been cycling a lot and get tan lines and we go on holiday, she's like, no, you need to put sun cream on the brown bits and leave the other bits. She's like, that's ridiculous. No, you need, and I'm like, how am I going to even do it? What, do I need a paintbrush so I can paint around this perfect line down here just to get the brown bit? No, not having it.
Yeah, see, I have a problem because being a triathlete, you're in Speedos like once a day, and that looks really weird when you got these little white shorts on. That looks really odd. And then like what looks like long brown boots. It's kind of
okay. So does that mean you don't cultivate the tan lines, or you do?
No, I try not to. It'd look bizarre. So that and it helps because I kind of.
Whereas a man of your age swanning around in Speedos is totally normal.
Hey, different crowd. This is not to go to the shops. Yeah. It is to go swimming. Just to be clear.
Sam, you got to do that. We've got to film you going to the shops
with some proper lift music.
Is this the next podcast? But the deal is we all have to do it.
Okay, fine. Right. Okay, so Should they or should they not be? They should not be displayed in shops. We've established this much. Should they or should they not be cultivated? No and
Nah.
yes.
100%.
Johnny, do you reckon they should be cultivated?
No,
No, you wouldn't.
come on.
Well, there we go.
I reckon
I'm
they
with
should
Sam on
be.
this.
Yeah, I
Completely
reckon they should.
100%.
Non-cyclists are spoken.
And mine look really stupid because I have short legs, but equally can't fit into small cycling shorts. So they are really long. So so the tan is just above the knee.
And then you have long socks too. Oh gosh,
Not a
that's
good
not
look,
a good look at all.
Not a good look. Okay. Saddle bars and tires shall be carefully matched. Do you want a bit more information?
No, but I know what they're getting at. It's like they've all got to be like all white or all black. You know,
White tires are unacceptable.
well, yeah, I don't agree with the
I
tires.
know
piece.
you've had them before, very long time ago.
Did I?
You said you had them on the mountain bike because they were really cool.
Yeah.
Was it not you?
You said that in like episode 1.
Tires.
I seem to recall.
Anyway,
Anyway,
tires that shouldn't
No, I
match.
can't
I
remember
do
that.
think you should try as far as possible to match bar tape and saddle
to black.
to black.
No, I had blue tires.
Oh, blue tires. Okay.
The Michelin, you know how Michelin
Yeah.
went through a phase.
So black then.
Well, I think they should be black. White bar tape looks great in a photo shoot. As soon as you put your hands on it, it doesn't look great.
So I used to have white bar tape
Same,
and white saddle
same.
because they need to be the same. Otherwise, you just look like a plum. Okay, we're down with rule number 8. That's fine. Rule number 9. If you're out riding in bad weather, it means you're a badass.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Jono, do you ever feel like a badass?
No, because I don't ride in bad
Okay,
weather.
I was just checking.
Is that why you constantly don't feel like a badass?
And I just
It might help.
disappointed with myself all the time.
Self-flagellation.
There it is.
Rule number 10. It never gets easier. You just go faster.
100%
Yeah,
true.
Absolutely. Rule number 11. Okay, I disagree with this one. This one gets on my nerves. But anyway, family does not come first. The bike does. So I don't know if you're aware of this. There's a famous interview with Sean Kelly where he was being interviewed in 1984 after Amstel Gold Race. And his wife was leaning against his Citroen. And he interrupts the interview to tell her to get off the paintwork, to which she shrugs. In your life, the cars come first and the bike, then me. Instinctively snaps back. You got the order wrong. The bike comes first.
Yeah.
Now, I don't agree.
Yeah.
I'm just putting it out
It's an
there.
amusing anecdote, but
Absolutely.
it's got no relevance to real life.
No, none whatsoever. And I bet you he went home and his wife, had a couple of words. Although Sean Kelly, I'm not so sure she did. But anyway, no. Okay, so I disagree. Rule number 12, the correct number of bikes. We've discussed N+1.
Yep.
We're not going to do that again. If you draw race number 13, turn it upside down. Has anybody ever done that?
If you want.
I mean,
I don't think you have
it's
to.
a thing, isn't it? You turn one of your dossards upside down. That's it. I think
Yeah.
it's a good rule, but we're not racers.
I
It's
ain't
not
got
really
time for that
relevant.
anyway. No. Shorts should be black. Team issue shorts should be black, with the possible exception of side panels, which may match the rest of the team kit.
Side panels?
Well, I think they are talking about race teams.
White
So
side panels.
if you
Yeah,
had,
team.
with branding on the side.
I don't know. I think that would look
I-
worse than a coloured pair of shorts.
I think the world champ should be allowed to wear white shorts.
Okay.
I like to see
Yeah,
the world
that's fine.
champ in white shorts.
I just don't like seeing the world champion in white shorts after riding a dusty race, because then it looks like he's moving towards Sam's thing with brown legs, a brown bikini, white tan lines.
Fair.
But other than that, yeah, I'm down with
But the
that.
likes of us three here, black shorts, 100%.
Yeah, I mean pink shorts on.
On Map have just brought out some pink shorts. Have you seen them?
You are not allowed to buy them.
They're outrageous.
Someone's going to buy them.
Not
me, just to be clear.
Someone is definitely
Yeah.
going to buy them for sure. Okay, that's fine. So black shorts, we are down with that. Rule number 16, respect the jersey. Championship and race leader jerseys must only be worn if you've won the championship or led the race.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed. Team kit is for members of the team.
Yep.
So I had this conversation in a cafe at the weekend. If it's kit that's being worn now, completely agree. You can wear kit at the point at which it becomes obsolete. So when they've stopped wearing it,
Mm-hmm.
you can wear team kit.
Did you ride for that team?
No,
Then no, you can't.
it's obsolete though.
No.
The team aren't wearing it.
No, only people who get paid to wear the kit should wear the kit. You shouldn't buy the kit.
But if it's obsolete, if it's like old kit,
Well, you shouldn't be wearing old kit anyway.
I think that's a really fuzzy line though. Like, because how about
is.
some of the naughties kit, which is disgusting?
No, you shouldn't be able to wear team kit unless you've ridden for the team.
This is a conversation that someone said to me, well, they were like, I used to love wearing the old Vini Fantini kit, which had like, it's proper Euros. It's got 75 different sponsors on it.
And colours.
It's like luminous yellow. But he said no one wore it. So the team would fold it. So it was great. I was like, but no one wore it because it's horrendous.
Yeah.
But the theory was posited to me that you could wear it when it becomes obsolete.
No, and I disagree. I think that theory is flawed. And who decides when it's obsolete? What, the year after?
Well,
So
if
you
it's
can
got
wear
reason.
last year's Ineos kit?
Yeah, if you want to.
No, you cannot. Do you have any team kit?
No.
Well, there we
Of
go
course
then.
I don't.
Okay, so,
As
no,
someone who
absolutely not.
who's not necessarily, like a seriously committed cyclist, I look down at people who wear team kit.
Yeah.
I see them as people who drink skinny decaf soy milk lattes.
They probably are, Jono. They probably are.
Thank you, Sam.
And that is why you're not allowed to wear team kit right there. Okay. Rule number 18, know what to wear, don't suffer. No baggy shorts and jerseys while riding on the road bike. No lycra when riding the mountain bike unless racing cross country. Skin suits only for cyclocross. I think that's a bit outdated.
Yeah, that needs updating.
Everybody
needs
wears skin
updating.
suits in a
Absolutely.
road race. So.
Everybody wears skin suits in road
And once
races.
you're on a road bike and you go on a booze cruise, you're off to the pub Friday night, baggy shorts, check shirts,
We've had this discussion before.
love a booze cruise.
Yeah, don't say that to Lee.
No, Dale. What
Yeah.
bike are you riding?
Road bike, full aero outfit, 58mm deep carbon wheels, baggy shorts, check shirt, casual sunglasses.
Unacceptable.
Maybe a Capellino.
Unacceptable.
You're poking the bear.
Unacceptable. Yeah, and he knows that. I can see him. He's like, watch me go.
Do
No.
three of these every summer.
Unacceptable. Not happening. You fail there. Rule number 19, introduce yourself. If you join a group, say hello, blah, blah, blah. I think it's just common courtesy.
100%. Nothing worse when you're riding and some douchebag sit on the back, getting a draft of your hard work and they haven't even said hello or asked.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Rage watts, drop them.
Well, it does go on to say the group should drop them as soon as possible if they don't introduce themselves. There are only 3 remedies for pain. If your quads start to burn, shift forward to use your hamstrings and calves. Or if your calves or hamstrings start to burn, shift back to use your quads. I knew this was coming.
Have you ever seen a bike fitter twitch?
Yeah, look.
I'm just wondering if the writer has actually seen a bike before.
If you feel wimpy and weak, meditate on rule number 5 and train more. Right now, that bit I get. If you're going to sulk in the corner because you are weak and wimpy, then man up, train more, get on with it. Right. As far as I thought, I'd just ask if that is sound advice, Sam. If your quads start to burn, should I just shift forward and
Unless
use my
he's being
hamstrings and calves?
sarcastic and he's just trying to make you hurt more. I mean, try it. Like if your quads are really hurting and you shift forward, I think they're going to hurt more.
That's my understanding because I'm quad dominant and sit quite far forward.
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's an odd one.
all right.
So as I say, maybe sarcastic.
Requires updating.
Factually incorrect. Cold weather gear is for cold weather?
Or indoor training,
Only for some people.
indoor heat training.
Only if you are doing some very
So maybe
specific.
that one needs updating as well.
Needs updating.
Okay, that's
There's
fine.
there's a great video on Instagram at the minute of Jonas Abrahamsson, whose indoor heat setup is in his bathroom. And what he does is he gets off the bike in his full winter kit and then just gets straight in the shower.
Now, hang on. Because I always feel sorry when I see guys cycling on a particularly warm day and they are in full length gear.
Why do you feel sorry for them?
Yeah, I was just about to say, what?
I
Yeah.
think, what a muppet. Why? I mean, the cold weather gear is for cold weather, but the thing is, it's unpredictable in England. It could be cold on a morning, and the afternoon could be really warm. But I think people people think because it's the time of the year they'll wear cold weather clothing when really it's the weather's not that cold, they don't need to wear it.
But that just shows a lack of knowledge and experience, Johnny.
Yeah.
And certainly a lack of the correct kit.
So
my
maybe they
opinion.
should read your rules. It's
Well, they're not my rules. That's why we're going through them. But
the
yes,
rules.
because surely there's kit for that, like arm warmers.
Love a pair of arm warmers.
Yeah, there is like satisfaction in getting it right, or wearing something knowing that like you will warm up, so you're going to want to pull those arm warmers off, and then when it like happens, and you're like, now's the time, I'm going to peel them off. You feel really good about it.
No, and it can be a challenge, especially if you commute, because it can be really cold in the morning, and then by the time you go home, it's 10 degrees difference, and all of a sudden it's boiling hot. But
Carry a different set of clothes.
that's extra, dude. I'm just gonna dress so that I can undress on the way home. Anyway, no excuses. Cycling caps are for cycling. We've discussed this.
I think they are.
Yeah.
You can't wear a Capolino anywhere else.
Yes.
Mainly because you don't wear a Capolino properly. You wear it so it perches literally on top of your head with maximum luft. So it sticks up like Sean Kelly used to wear it.
And you certainly
80s.
can't wear it to the pub in your normal clothes.
Yeah.
I may have done that.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you have. That doesn't make it acceptable. Rule number 23, tuck only after reaching escape velocity.
What does that even mean?
I think it means when you're going as fast as you can, then you can tuck. Okay. Stupid rule. Doesn't need to be there, seeing as there's a hell of a lot of them. Speeds and distances shall be referred to and measured in kilometers.
Agree.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. The bikes on the top of your car should be worth more than the car. Well, that goes without saying in my case. Dale, depends. If you put all of them on top, then absolutely.
No, it still will be worth more than my car.
Oh, no, it won't. Oh, unlucky, Dale.
It's not lucky. I don't drive a cheap car. I don't consider that to be unlucky.
You don't have cheap bikes either.
Cheap bikes.
Yeah, I'm not sure that should be a rule. And it certainly doesn't apply these days. That's for sure.
I know what they're getting at, right? That's just about the whole racer thing, and you should have a really, really lovely bike, and you should forgo everything else in your life. It's great. It's a lovely idea. But actually, some people don't have to adhere to it, so it shouldn't be a rule.
I agree.
Yeah.
Make your bike photogenic. Now, I was a little bit confused here because it says when photographing your bike,
This is about how you set the cranks up.
some parameters are firm. Valve stems at 6 o'clock. Cranks never at 90 or 180 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
So at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock.
So never at 12 o'clock
Is that right?
or 6
Is that
o'clock.
what they mean?
Yes, they do. That is right. But 90 degrees is 3 o'clock, isn't it?
Oh.
No, that's 40. No, yeah, that's 90.
What you should do, all
90 from
all
where?
cranks have got writing on them, right? So you should only take a picture of your bike from the drive side. The cranks have got writing on them. That writing should be readable in the picture.
Yeah, like that.
It's like that. That's how
But
they
that's
should be.
90 degrees, isn't it?
Well,
It's
whoever,
180.
so this
That
is
looks
another
good to
rule.
me. That's
This
how I
is
do
another
it.
rule that needs
Yeah,
rewriting.
no,
Yeah.
that's wrong. Shorts and socks should be like Goldilocks. Not too long and not too short.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. There's a rule about where it should be in relation to your calf. I've read that somewhere.
Yeah, I think I saw that somewhere as well.
I think as well, like if you're doing, say like road race compared with TT, you can kind of get away with longer socks than TT, but it would look a bit weird on in a road race.
There have been some really bad
It's personal
examples in
opinion.
races this year of people having too long a socks on, or they've got overshoes that come up to the middle of their shin. Horrid.
Because it is a UCI. I mean, I wear long socks, right? There is a UCI rule, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
can
don't
only
follow
go-
it, do they? They don't follow it.
No.
They instead they might make a rule about socks. They don't follow it, but they will fine you if you put your hands in the air because your mates won the race.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're not allowed to do that.
No.
That is unacceptable. Socks can be any damn color you like. You guys were saying the rules had been updated. White is old school. Black is cool too, but we're given a bad image by a Texan whose were too long. If you feel you must go colored, make sure they damn well match your kit.
Disagree with this one. I
Okay.
think if you're on a road bike, you should wear white socks. If you're off road, you are allowed to wear black socks for obvious reasons,
Mhm.
right? Because if you're riding gravel, white socks just get destroyed. Most of the colours of socks, I just don't think you should wear them.
So only white socks on the road.
Yep.
No. Why?
Because they look the best. In the same way that black saddle and black bar tape, they just look the best. White socks.
Yeah, maybe.
I like it, but there's too much. I think there's some really nice clothing manufacturers out there now. Mary's got some fingers crossed socks and some map socks, and they look really. They're like coloured, and I personally wouldn't choose them because then like it would really irritate me if it didn't match the rest of my kit, and chances are I'm not going to wear like maroon shorts or something. But if she matches them up, it generally looks pretty good. She's got a good eye for it. So I'm down with being a bit more experimental.
Yeah, you see, I think so many sock companies have ruined it by making too many stupid socks.
Could you not do them as a statement piece?
No.
So, no, hang on. So if your outfit's black, then some really pink or really like orange.
Have a word.
Okay,
why don't you just disconnect his mic?
You took the words out of my mouth and I realized he's got all the controls. Otherwise.
I think this is too
Jonathan.
hard to make into a rule because I'm not a big fan of pink socks, not a big fan of like kind of ironic, like, I don't know, cyan ones with bananas on, anything like that.
I have a pair of those.
Right.
I've never worn them on the bike.
No. But then other ones are more like, as I say, more tasteful these days. And I think you get away with it.
No, I'm closer to Dale's rule than I am to allowing all socks. I'm not even going to go over that nonsense. I'm not even talking about that. There were a couple I wanted to. Humps are for camels, no hydration packs. Hydration packs are never to be seen on a road rider's body. No argument will be entered onto in this. For mountain bike, they're fine.
Again, I don't really see the necessity for wearing a camelback or something if you're riding on the road. But if you're doing like long gravel races or if you're doing sort of bike packing, they're amazing for that.
Absolutely.
So there is a place for them.
This is one I found interesting. It says spare tubes, multi-tools and repair kits should be stored in jersey pockets. If
Ridiculous.
Absolutely necessary in a converted bidon in a cage on the bike, but no bags on the back.
Oh, no, I think that looks mental. Then you've got like big sagging pockets full of tubes and stuff.
I don't have saddlebags on any of my bikes.
Do you carry them in your back pockets?
Well, so the answer to this is controversial.
You don't carry them.
Don't even come at me.
It's road tubeless. You don't carry a tube, do you? All you need really is your repair kit, which is quite small. And then you've got a choice. You can either take a CO2 and a gas canister, or you can take like a little electric mini pump. And basically everything I ride with now is contained in my little Rafa wallet type thing. And that goes in one jersey pocket, isn't overloaded, and that's that. I don't take any saddlebags out with me.
Yeah, so Sam and I have actually had this debate before with stuff in your pockets because you don't like stuff in your pockets.
I just like, I need, the stuff in my pockets is for stuff I need quickly, like my phone in an emergency or food.
Yeah,
Nothing
gels,
else matters.
Gels. If you're, and this is an important point, right? If you're trying to go out on a 4-hour ride and you need to consume 90 grams of carbs an hour, you're essentially needing to have 2 gels at least every hour. And if you're out for 4 hours, that means you start at 60. So you got 60, 90, 120, 150, and then the next ones. You've got to take 5 gels out with you to get on top of your fueling. That's your jersey pockets full right off the bat. So, really you can't be carrying all the tubes and this and that and the other. So they've got to go somewhere if you're riding tubes. So my personal position is go tubeless.
So I don't ride a bike that has small enough tires to be concerned with the tubeless issue. So for me, anything below 30 should not be run tubeless. That's just my opinion, right? Because I think the pressure is too high and it just blows the sealant straight out and they don't seal properly. But anything above that, when you're running lower pressures, the sealant seems to seal and hold. So I don't carry a spare tube anywhere. Unless I'm going to be like out in the middle of nowhere for ages, I wouldn't carry a spare tube anyway. puncture repair kits, but I either carry them like you in a pouch in my middle pocket, but I normally do that in the winter where I've got lights at the back. Then in the summer, I do have a saddle bag made by
Django rolls.
Django rolls, which fits right up in the bottom, and I do use that because then I can just swap it from bike to bike very quickly, and it has everything. Then I have nothing in my back pockets, which I prefer if I can. There are many more rules, which we're not going to go through now because clearly it's going to take us far too bloody long. So we're going to move on. I wanted to do the Dale scale quickly.
Oh, who've got this week?
I have rewritten the Dale scale so that at least I can see what is going on.
We need to have a clip of that on the video so the viewers can see it.
Right. So that is what it looks like. Not that you'll be able to read it from there, but the point is...
Just put your finger on the Froome line because we need people to understand that it's not in the middle of the scale because there are more people in this world who should be to the left.
Yeah, so this is the Froome line. I keep on King Dale. This is the Froome line here. This side is good. Froome is like neutral over here, and anywhere here is bad.
Yeah.
That's just to give a little explanation. So today we have Tadej Pogačar.
I had a weird feeling you were going to say that.
I think we've been talking about him so much, but we haven't put him on here, so I thought it's probably time. Dale's deep in thought.
I do not believe that is this vision of perfection, both as a person, as a human, as a cyclist. I do not believe it. I don't believe it. Something isn't right. If something looks like a fish and it smells like a fish, it's usually a fish. And I don't buy it.
So I was thinking about this yesterday and today, and I had a quick look at, the race, because the racing times are going up and up and up and up, right? They're just getting faster and faster and faster, both across men's and women's, although women's, there's less to look back on, but basically people are just getting faster. So I think there is some value in the fact that if there was riders in the past who had won so much and dominated like they did, we don't know. Well, we do know some were taking something, and then before that, we don't know whether they were or not. But you have throughout history had these characters that have dominated. Why is it so strange to have one dominating now?
Yeah. Well, it's not strange, but the people who've dominated in the past generally haven't been doing it via legal means.
Okay, so now you're saying that the same thing's going on throughout the peloton.
I'm saying it's suspicious, is what I'm saying.
So do we reckon we're still dirty all the way through?
I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. Speed's going up, and there are a lot of reasons for that. Nutrition,
for sure,
aerodynamics, the kit that they use, the bikes they use, the training's much better. People are more committed to it. You don't have those stupid off seasons like they used to have, right? I think there's a lot that's gone on, but everybody's moving in that way. And then you've got this guy who seemingly can ride away from anyone at will.
Yeah.
Which is strange in and of itself. And then you look at the history of his team. The team manager of UAE Team Emirates is a chap called Mauro Gianetti. Mauro Gianetti has been involved in doping through almost every decade of his career. He was involved with Lamprey, because basically this team came out it's like the phoenix from the flames of Lamprey. Lamprey was dirty as you like, right? Like the worst doping Italian team. I do not believe for a minute that all of a sudden this man has had a massive epiphany and has given up his doping past. I don't buy it. It stinks.
It's an interesting perspective because in a lot of the other teams, changes have been made, right? And a lot of these people that were involved in the big, now very open doping are no longer involved. Some are, but maybe not to the same degree.
Yeah.
I think, it's interesting.
My opinion's kind of changed as well. When he pipped Roglic all those years ago, I kind of liked that because he was like the underdog, and gradually, whilst everybody else has kind of been, amazed at his achievements and stuff, there's something it's a little bit like you, Dale. It doesn't quite sit right.
He's so dominant, isn't he?
I'm struggling to really love it when he attacks and wins. In fact, last year's tour I found almost unwatchable because the difference between first and second was just so huge. it doesn't happen in any other sport like that. So why should it happen here?
And he hadn't just gone for the Tour. He'd done the same thing at the Giro. He'd ridden away from everyone at every stage of the Giro. And everyone said the hardest thing, like it's impossible. No one in the modern era would be able to do the Giro Tour double. And yet he did. And he did it in such a dominant fashion.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but this is something that humans are not really supposed to be able to do. He'd never shown that he was going to be able to dominate 2 tours like that before. It just magically seems to happen after having won classic after classic, after ridden away from classic specialists.
And did Merckx not perform similarly?
Yeah, but Merckx was pinged for doping.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But what I'm saying is that everybody was, right? But you still had somebody who was stand out. So the measuring stick was that everybody was doping. And then you had Merckx. And then everybody was doping and you had Armstrong. And so what I'm saying is that the measuring stick is still the same. You have somebody that's dominating. So what I was asking is that, do you think Pogacar is doing it on his own, or do you think it is still inherently rife throughout cycling? Or is his performance so much better that it indicates that he's doing it on his own?
What do you mean by on his own? Like,
well, nobody else in the peloton's doing it.
Because I think he needs it. If he's going to pass all the drugs tests, like he's going to be tested so much. He's going to need a lot.
Oh no, sorry, I don't mean like purely on his own. I mean as a rider versus the rest of the peloton. Do we then assume that the rest of the peloton is also doing it?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who's doping and who's not. What I'm saying is, I'm not accusing him of doping. What I'm saying is that the level of his performances
is insane.
Are suspiciously high.
Because one thing is that they say he will be the best cyclist we've ever had, but in far fewer years than anybody else has done previously, right? Which means, yes, that's fine if you've all won 50 races, because I don't know the exact stats, but it took, just for argument's sake, Merckx 15 years to do it. He's going to do it in a handful. Okay, so where does he go here on our Dale scale? Bearing in mind that we have subsequently established that people can move. If they make a dramatic change or whatever, they can move. Other than, I think, Valverde, I think that dude's stuck. And possibly Isabet as well. I reckon he's probably stuck down there as well.
He's never going to be moving.
They've dug their grave.
Yeah, that's it. So where do you...
I don't like him.
Okay, well, let's do... Okay, so you don't like him. Do you want to be friends with him? No. Okay, so he's definitely down sort of this end. Like you guys, I'm just like, oh, man. And
I also don't believe his hair just pops out his helmet like that.
What, that's on purpose, you reckon?
I think he does on purpose. I think he sets it up.
Actually, I've just remembered one thing that really winds me up as well. Was it in last year's tour when in the time trial, he just turned to the camera mid-time trial and did that or something? So put up 3 fingers like for three wins.
Yeah.
Who does that in a time trial when like every second counts? Like
somebody who knows he's got a motor in his bike? No, I'm joking.
Well, exactly. Like so confidence bordering on arrogance. I just don't like that. And because we're talking about the Dale scale where it's like opinion, that I just find like is kind of rubbing it in everybody's face. And it's also just, it's almost like a step too far when you're doing it in a time trial, when it's like everybody's refined their bikes and their position to the last nanogram. And then he's taking the time to turn to camera to do that. Like it just shows like, I don't know, like
very poor
yeah,
taste.
and I think the Dale scale is an opinion-based scale, 100%. Right? And there's merit in some of the opinion. I'm not saying, and I agree. For me, he makes cycling boring. I know if we take everything suspicious out and we just go, oh, he's amazing, but it's boring. I'm like, I don't mind if somebody wins and dominates, but I'd like somebody at least to try and give him a go or a run for his money, at least make it interesting. When he crashed, Sarah said, oh, well, Pidcock's got a good chance. I said, no, he hasn't. I said, watch. And I had no evidence to support that, but I was like, that dude's going to get back on his bike and he's going to come past and he's going to win. And it's still going to be boring. So this side of Jonas, as in worse than Jonas?
Yeah, I like Jonas more than like him.
You know what? I don't like Jonas, but... Okay, Vollering. I reckon he floats somewhere around.
Yeah,
Kevin
I'd say
Vollering.
that's fair.
Yeah.
I'd say that's fair.
I reckon they should be friends down here. Okay. While I'm filling in his name on my new line, Anna van der Breggen.
See, I used to, Van der Breggen used to ride at the same time as Annemiek van Vleuten, and you were kind of one or the other. And I was always Team Van der Breggen, not Team Van Vleuten. I never used to like Van Vleuten. Again, she looked awful on the bike. She had like her ankles were all popping out, and she just looked terrible. Always looked like she was dying.
That's another thing that annoys me about Pogacar. I'm sorry to interrupt, but his bloody bike fit is not right.
No, it's not right.
Anyway, sorry.
And so I think I like Van der Breggen. I would put her to the right of the Froome line.
Yeah,
Probably just to the right.
Yeah, and I think I didn't necessarily have that one or the other with her, but I think I'd like to be friends with her. Going back to Sam's, but if I don't have an opinion, I'm going to use that as it. And I think I'd like to be friends with her. So a Froome line, then we've got Bardet, then we've got Cavendish and Lachlan Morton. I think he should be somewhere just maybe to the right of Bardet.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll buy that.
Okay.
I'll buy that.
Okay, we're going to take it. Del, Kit.
Kit this week. So my Colnago C64 is sort of full Dura Ace on it. And this winter, I took the power meter off and I put it on my Scott Addict. And I've been riding around with that. And actually, I quite like it. I didn't want to put my Ultegra one back onto my Scott Addict. So I bought a new crank today.
With the power meter?
I bought a Dura Ace crank. No power meter, just a Dura Ace crank.
Okay.
So I can put it back onto my C64 because I've got some Garmin Rally pedals as well. I have a lot of power meters. I've got like 3 power meters as well. So I bought a new crank, 170mm cranks. Didn't want to go 165, but I've got 172.5s on all my other bikes. So I thought I'm going to try a little bit shorter.
Okay.
So I've gone for 170s.
Okay.
To put on that.
Dipping your toe in.
I won't even notice the difference.
You won't.
Sammy, is there a challenge riding 2 different crank lengths?
Some people think so. I did for years. I didn't really have an issue with it. It feels strange, but just because of muscle memory.
Yeah.
But I think, maybe if you're riding 2 road bikes and one's got 165 and one's got 175 or something.
Yeah, I mean, but we're
2.5 mils.
Yeah, we're talking 2.5 mils.
Like
2.5 mil. I'm not even sure you'll notice.
And
that.
from an injury perspective, it's not really going to encourage any injury, is it?
No, I think if anything, you'll just start enjoying the short cranks and then just want to make all your other bikes the same.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
We've predicted this, right? Yeah. And it's already started. So maybe Dale's going to get away with not buying a new bike. He's going to replace all his cranks this year.
No, but I am thinking about getting some new wheels.
What wheels do you want now?
Well, I might change my Zip 353s. Having said that, one of my favourite pieces of kit, I might change the 353s.
For Envies?
Maybe not.
Oh,
maybe something else.
Goodness for that.
I was thinking about some Princeton Carbon Works.
Of course you were.
Or maybe...
They're a bit delicate though, aren't they?
I don't know, are they? Are they?
I believe
it's like normal.
A little bit delicate.
They have carbon spokes. Oh, there's KDX 50 Ultras with carbon spokes. 50 mil deep, and they're only like 13, 20 grams.
They're probably hookless, just to warn you.
They are hookless. Whereas the Princetons have got hooks, which is why I quite like them. 21 mil internal with hooks. So it'd be nice with a 28 mil tyre. Because my C64 can't take bigger than a 28 mil tyre, and that's the problem. Because really I should be riding 29s or 30s on the 353s, and they won't fit. And they're not deep enough to go on my Scott Addict.
So you might need a new bike.
No, I need new
Okay, I'm
wheels.
just checking.
New wheels.
Well, if you can't ride 30 mil tyres, then isn't the bike
28s will
obsolete?
28s will fit. Like Zip say that 28s will work on 353s.
Okay, so that's fine. Pod task. 20 kilometers, one song.
Yeah.
What song did you choose?
I Sat by the Ocean by, God, what are they called? It's gone out of my head. Talk about yourselves, I'll look it up.
Okay. Sammy?
Oh my gosh, this is the worst choice ever. I thought I was
It's not.
I was at Zwift and I put on something that I thought would motivate me. So I just put on a pendulum track. Thought, this is going to get me really pumped.
What?
Oh my gosh.
A proper pendulum.
No, as in
Pendulum.
Pendulum the band.
Oh, right.
Which one did you put on?
Blood Sugar.
Oh my gosh, for 20 kilometers.
Yeah, honestly, I was bored out of my brain. So a second time, I was still like, yeah, this kind of getting me in the mood. And then third time, I was like, as I said to you guys on WhatsApp, it was basically a lullaby. Like, it could have been absolutely anything. So boring.
Yeah, Queens of the Stone Age I listened to.
Okay. And do you still like the song afterwards?
No.
Yeah. It was all right.
Yeah.
I chose a song that I liked anyway, so it made it. a bit
So
more-
I had this massive debate, right, whether I should choose a song that I like and then potentially never like it again, or just leave it alone, or, how should I go about this? So I thought I would do something that might be the most annoying thing on the planet, and I chose All I Want for Christmas.
What, by Mariah Carey
Oh, no.
So for
in March.
20 kilometers, I listened to All I Want for Christmas. And I don't think I care less or more about the song than I did before.
Well, that's quite impressive in a way.
Anyway, I've heard bits of the song that I'd never heard before. Tiny nuances in the voice every now and
There
then.
are no nuances in that song. I hate that song.
It is a horrendous song.
We when I was still professionally working in the industry, I went on a tour, like an orchestra tour, where they played the film Love Actually in all these lovely concert halls around the country, and then you have an orchestra that plays the soundtrack, so all the music from the film.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 6 weeks,
Oh,
every
no.
night, sometimes twice a day. All I Want for Christmas.
I can imagine.
It was more than 6 weeks. It was like 8 weeks.
All I Want for Christmas
I never
is
want to
Ear
hear that song
Defenders.
again. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm in no hurry to
listen.
listen to the song again. I'll give it that much, right? But yeah, Anyway, it was. It is
It's
what
an
it is.
interesting choice.
I thought I'd put it out there, but
Go
I
on,
didn't
please.
want to risk ruining a song that I really liked by playing it over and over and over again. Anyway, so this week's pod task has come out of this podcast, and I would like a photograph of you in a shop in your cycling gear.
In a shop.
Oh, good. Not my Speedos then.
No, it doesn't, because
Okay, good.
I don't own a pair of Speedos, and I promise you, if I wore a pair of Speedos into a shop in my current state, I will get kicked out or arrested. One of those two things will actually happen. Okay? I will look like a very naughty man. And
Yeah.
that is no. So anyway, so just a selfie,
I'm going to buy you a care package for Tuscany, and in that care package is going to be
a Speedo.
a Speedo.
It has to be a bright color.
Oh yeah,
I'm not having black or navy
Absolutely.
blue.
Oh no,
Red.
no.
Bright red.
When
I don't want red.
when
Like
I
a neon
accentuate your
color.
pasty legs,
Red.
Like neon
Getting red Speedos.
yellow or neon pink.
white
Or
drawstring.
I'll wear them. Yeah, it doesn't, and it needs to be like a supermarket kind of shop, not a cycling shop.
A supermarket.
Yeah.
So wander into Waitrose in my cycling gear.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a cycling shop. Oh, I went into 700 wearing my. No, that doesn't count.
Okay.
Who goes in 700?
I'm just saying. I don't think anybody.
Burn on the podcast.
Well, I haven't been in 700 for a very long time. Although I did think a friend of mine, Luke, now works there, so I should go and say hello to him. But yeah, I haven't. Anyway,
Is that Luke who used to work at
Yeah.
Beer?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
supermarket in your cycling gear, selfie, please, down, I don't know, one
Can
of the
it be
aisles.
like a corner shop or some kind of, general outlet store?
No, I think it should be a supermarket there.
Supermarket.
Yeah. So, one of the supermarkets. It doesn't have to be the biggest one you can find, but
Clicking and clacking to the fresh produce aisle.
Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Waitrose, any of those will do.
A picture on my back when I've fallen up because I've slipped with my cleats on the hard floor.
If I go to Lidl and just lay across their random stuff file they have in the middle of the store.
That will be allowed on one condition: you take a Waitrose carrier bag with you. Because I can never work out who I dislike more: people who go into Aldi with a Waitrose bag, or people who go into Waitrose with a Tesco's bag. which ones?
It doesn't matter where you go. If you're Tesco's bag, that's bad. Tesco's bag.
The thing is that if you come out of Aldi carrying a Waitrose bag, is it because you want everybody to think you were in Waitrose, or just I am here now, but I do normally shop in Waitrose? Where's that?
Don't know. I've never been in an Aldi, so
Never focused
maybe
on
I'll
it
try
quite
an
so
Aldi.
deeply.
Never been in one.
Rock and roll. Found all sorts of stuff in
Do
Aldi.
do Aldi's also smell a bit funny like Lidl's do? They don't,
No,
they don't
not-
smell like
not-
a normal supermarket, do they?
They smell of boxes.
Do they?
That's that little smell is boxes, because there's always boxes
I
everywhere.
always think like someone at the back has spilt some corned beef or something.
Corned beef. I bet you a Waitrose sells more corned beef than Lidl does. And on that note, thank you very much, gentlemen. Good luck with your bar task, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
See you in a couple of weeks.